Hi everyone, it's Yoojin Lee and you're listening to MoneyCrashers' first ever podcast. I'm here to make your financial life better by helping you make wiser choices about managing, saving, investing, and spending money. Today, I have my good friend Jennifer Weber, a certified financial planner from Weber Asset Management here to talk about career, money, and family. Jen graduated from Columbia University and furthered her studies at NYU for her MBA. She currently works and resides in New York, but originates from Florida, where she was captain of her high school golf team. That leadership quality hasn't left her. She has been the class mom every year that I've known her for her son. Yes, we met each other through our boys who were in the same class and almost share a birthday. Jen, you give the inner tiger mom and me so much pride and joy. You graduated from an Ivy League, and currently the vice president of your firm, and happily married with 2 beautiful boys. You're such an inspiration to young women everywhere. Can you tell us how your road led you here?
Well, Yoojin, first I just want to say thank you. It is really an honor and a pleasure to be here. And 2, I hope that I can live up to that introduction. So thank you. I guess I need to go play some more golf and get my golf game back. I would say, to answer your question, really, it was not a straight and clear path. I knew that I was interested in financial services, but I had different roles. And at one point, I was working at an investment bank in a division called Business Intelligence, doing due diligence on financial transactions. And at the same time, I was getting my MBA. During this time, I had conversations with really close friends of mine who were super smart, well-educated, doing well with their careers, and yet they really didn't understand the basics about personal finance when it comes to saving and investing and paying off credit card bills or investing in your 401k. And I was kind of taken back by the whole thing. And it was at that point that I pivoted and I said that I really wanted to work within wealth management to help women and the next generation learn more about investing and building and growing their wealth.
Okay. So tell me more about your background. What was it like growing up in your house in Florida?
Well, I had a great life growing up, great childhood, and I am so thankful for my parents. I mean, it's really amazing now when you are a parent how much you appreciate what you were given. And my parents really gave me so many opportunities and provided for me that I am forever thankful. And I'm in awe of how much they did do, for sure.
And what did they teach you about finance or career or money? What did you learn from them?
I learned a lot about careers. I mean, they both started their own businesses, and they, pivoted careers. My dad was a CPA by trade, and my mom was a teacher, and they both completely changed careers when I was growing up. My dad was in the live plant nursery business, which is why they moved to Florida. And my mother had an opportunity that my dad, they thought about together. They were given an opportunity to purchase a truck. And ultimately, my mother started her own waste management business. So it was very different than other households where my friends' parents were lawyers or doctors. I mean, my parents were entrepreneurs. And they were in industries that you don't really hear about. In fact, when my mother started her business, I was so embarrassed to tell anyone she was working in, waste management. Mm-hmm. And then eventually I became super, super proud of her, all that she accomplished, how much she grew her business. Both of my parents, really. So that was definitely had a big impact on me. Mm-hmm. And I would say in terms of the personal finance side, my mom, it was important for her that she had her own money and her own financial independence. And I think that that's something that she really focused on teaching me. Mm-hmm. And she talked a lot about.
I could relate on so many levels. First off, growing up as one of the few Asians in my community, I definitely felt aware of our cultural differences. But the most obvious difference was the job my parents had. Most parents were CPAs, doctors, nurses, teachers, attorneys, my parents, they owned a dry cleaning business, and it wasn't that they didn't have as much or gave me less as my peers. It was the fact that they literally had to labor for a living. That meant no desks, no computer, no PTO, no weekends. It was just blood, sweat, and tears 7 days a week. Now, their journey is long, and it's a story of a successful American dream. Don't worry, listeners, you'll be able to meet them on a future episode where they break down their story. But what I learned from them was the importance of saving, so that when the right opportunity came, you have the cash to invest and expand your business, and grow your wealth.
I love that. That's such a great story.
It is. And you'll meet them soon. Don't worry. So I have a question. What are some things that you teach your two boys about money and finance or career that you've learned so far, whether it's from your parents or from your own experience?
I'm trying really hard to teach my kids the value of $1. I read a great book by Ron Lieber, Give, Save, Spend. I'm forgetting the exact name of the book, but it's about raising kids that aren't spoiled. Mm. And that's really a focus for me, is how do I make sure that my kids, grow up understanding what money can do, that it's not going to be, it doesn't buy happiness, but it gives you a lot of opportunities in life. And having that financial independence is so important. So with my older son, Avi, who's in second grade, he has money envelopes. And in those envelopes, one is give, one is save, and one is spend. Mm-hmm. So he'll typically put the majority of his money in his spend, and then we talk about saving so he can put money aside there to really build up for that big purchase, that big ticket item, whatever that may be. And then also give, which is important for me, is to give back to the community and to give to those who are less fortunate. My parents were and still are very involved in the community, and that impacted me a lot, that I want to make sure that my kids do the same. Absolutely. You're a great mother. I'm trying, but I will say raising not spoiled kids is hard. I think it's hard when everything, you can just get it so easily, and they, know Amazon, and they're like, oh, I want that. And then it kind of arrives the next day. So I'm really working on that. That is definitely a big work in progress in my household. Absolutely. And I feel like that would be another great episode about how to teach money to kids, how to delegate allowance and chores, etc. That's a good topic. But Jen, it's a big topic. So Jen, you know that recently I had my third child, and I confided in you about how desperately I needed help, but felt guilty hiring a nanny. Between the lack of sleep, the omnipotent yet volatile hormones, being present for my older two kids, and working on excelling in my career, I felt like I was failing at everything. And Jen, you recommended a great book to me. I think it was called We Should All Be Millionaires. Yeah. Did I get it right this time? Yeah. Can you tell the listeners about the book and your biggest takeaway from it? Yeah, it is a book, We Should All Be Millionaires, by Rachel Rogers, who is a career coach, and she's really incredible. And this book is focused on moms, and women, not just moms, but women who, are working. And it's how to create and build systems that allow you to build wealth. And what my big takeaway is that you can make $1 million decisions, or you can make broke-ass decisions. And I love how she says that. And $1 million decision really gives you time and energy to build and to create and to be with your family. And one of the $1 million decisions that she talks about is outsourcing and delegating certain tasks in your household that will free up your time and give you the opportunity to focus on your business, to let the creative energy flow. And that way, when you're with your family, you're not necessarily focused on, the cooking and the cleaning and the household chores. When you're with your family, you are present and you are enjoying your time together. Because ultimately, I think our goal as moms and women is to, enjoy the time that you have when you're not working, and to make sure that that's quality time with your family and your friends.
Yeah, no, I agree. I really took your advice to heart. I hired a part-time nanny. For the 2 days I have her, I give my kids my undivided attention, my work, my undivided attention, and it's such a load off my shoulders. It's so true. And when she's here, I try to squeeze in all my calls, all my filming, everything. And it's literally, without question, I'm producing better work because of the decision I've made. But let's be clear of one thing. It comes at a steep price. I recently created a poll for my social media audience asking what % of women out there quit their job for their kids. It was 80%. I asked the ones that remained at work how much of their salary goes to childcare, and the majority of women actually end up spending more on childcare than they make. And there are two reasons they do that. One, in order for them to advance in the workplace, they feel this is necessary, so they bite the bullet. Two, they do it for their mental health. The time away to focus on their careers gives them joy. And I agree with both. I need to work for, one, my mental health, and because it gives me joy to do what I want, like do something good for myself, and it'll ultimately be good for my children. And it's a space where I evolve and become better. And it's something that I could teach my kids as well. But yeah, those numbers made me really sad.
It's really sad. And I think that there's definitely a lot of factors that come into play when we talk about women stepping out of the workforce and what, and it can be a personal choice that they want to be home to raise their family, or it can be a forced decision because of the cost of childcare, which is very much a separate conversation for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. But speaking of spending, have you splurged on anything recently? I know as a certified financial planner, you're responsible and can look beyond immediate gratification with your purchases. But there has to be something you've treated yourself to recently.
It's a great question, and I haven't splurged so much recently because I'm spending a lot of money on my children. But recently I did buy a Peloton, which was an amazing decision for me, and I would say it was Rachel Rogers might call it $1 million decision because it improves my mental health. It's time for myself. I'm putting in, for me, away from the family, whether it's 20-minute ride, whatever it may be, to focus on myself and my fitness and my well-being. So it's something that I'm very glad that I purchased, and it has a great return on the investment.
Yeah, and you look great. You looked great before, but you look great. And I feel like I have seen Jen, and I have been to the same gym, and she hasn't been that consistent in the past with the gym. But with her Peloton, she's been consistent. You've been on it. You hop on almost every day, right?
Yeah, we've had a stomach bug in the house recently, so I've taken a little bit of a breather. But I really enjoy getting on it every day, every morning, and it makes my day better for sure.
Absolutely. You need that hour for yourself for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see. What do I want to splurge on? I want my next splurge to be a second home in Florida, where you're from. We travel frequently, and with a growing family, it gets really expensive. And especially since the kids are in school now, we have to follow their school calendar, and that makes it very difficult in terms of finding a good deal. So we've been everywhere from Hawaii to Bermuda, the Caribbean, everywhere. But when your kids are so young, a pool is a pool and a beach is a beach. They don't know the difference. And so we feel like just being close to home, a quick 3-hour plane ride. You're still in the States, so you don't have to deal with long lines at customs. It'll be so easy to be able to just go there during the breaks or even rent it out for some passive income if we're not using it. Or if our friends and family need a place to stay, it'll be great if I could just send them an invitation, you know? So that's what I would like to splurge on next. I'm not there yet, but soon.
I love this idea, and,
Yes.
I would love to do that as well. But if you get there first, then we'll come visit you and stay at your house. I think it's a really great idea. Good for travel, good for second income for a lot of the year. Love it.
Yeah. So Jen, I know you're ambitious and you have a lot of goals. What's next for you?
I'm not really sure. It's a tough question for me. I enjoy working. I want to continue to grow our business, really reach out to more and more younger people so they understand the importance of starting early and the power of compound interest. So I just would like to be in front of more people, helping more people understand the basics of financial planning and financial literacy, and hopefully teach my kids some lessons that they can take with them as well.
This month we've been focused at MoneyCrashers on retirement planning. If my math is correct, your child could be a millionaire by the age of 40 if you start putting money aside into the custodial IRA at age 10. And by the time they're 50, they could be it'll accrue up to 2.6 million and 7 million by the time they're 60. Can you tell us a little bit about retirement planning and what you told me about a 4% rule, correct? Can you elaborate on that and tell our listeners?
So the 4% rule is kind of an industry standard back of the napkin math way to calculate how much you'll need in retirement. So if we talk about 4%, say in retirement, if you have $1 million, 4% of $1 million is $40,000. So how much income do you need in retirement that will hopefully last you 30 plus years at this point? We like to see that number a little lower than 4% now, but I think that that's a great starting point. So if you had $5 million at retirement, that would be, $200,000 that you could spend in retirement annually. And I think that these are great targets. And what you just highlighted early, or is starting early, really gives you the time to build up that wealth without even saving so much a year. I mean, that's really what's so important and why I wish financial literacy was taught in schools, because the younger you start, the better you are off in the long run.
Yeah. What do you do for your children? Do you just do custodial accounts like IRAs, investment accounts, 529s? Is there anything else?
Right now, we're just focused on the 529 plans. As they get a little older, I would start, some other types of accounts. The first thing when my kids start having earned income, I will definitely encourage a Roth IRA. Roth IRAs allow you to contribute. You can contribute up to $6,000 a year into a Roth IRA, but there needs to be earned income. So you need, and what's great about a Roth IRA is that the money goes in to the account after tax. It grows tax-free, and then you can withdraw it in retirement tax-free. So it's really an unbelievable account for kids. So as soon as my kids start getting their part-time summer jobs, that's what I'll be encouraging for sure.
And how exactly are we going to convince them to put it into the Roth IRA? Do you have any idea? I need help in that.
For me, I think it would be the ability to match. So if they were making $6,000 and they want to contribute $3,000, that I would be willing to contribute and help them with the additional money.
Okay, like a company.
Yeah, a company match.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, we're running out of time today, but Jen, thank you so much for joining me on my first episode of my very first podcast. You're going to have to come back soon so we could talk about so much more about children, everything that's on our mind, money, family, etc. You can follow Jen on Instagram at Jennifer Weber CFP. And of course, follow us on Instagram at MoneyCrashers_. I promise I have the best reels, and spoiler alert, my 3 kids make guest appearances. All right, thank you so much, everyone. Till next time.